Hello, Dr. Hermann. Thank you for accepting our invitation on Ethereum.com. First of all, please could you introduce yourself to our audience?
Yeah, thank you for approaching me, and it's really my pleasure to introduce my work to your audience. And I'm a radiologist, and I'm specialized in imaging of musculoskeletal diseases, especially arthritides like rheumatoid arthritis, psoriatic arthritis, and axial spondyloarthritis. And I'm in the field of radiology since 1999 and started my training in that year. And then later on, I became a board certified radiologist in 2007 and also did a lot of scientific work over the time and founded an arthritis imaging research group within my department here in Berlin at the Charité Hospital. And we are doing research projects on different aspects of imaging of arthritis patients. So this is a lot of joy to me to do this work, and I have a small group that I work with, and we are also doing a lot of educational projects. So that's basically my day to care for patients in the hospital, but also to do research.
Thank you for your answer. In your opinion, do you think that we need the artificial intelligence model for reading images, or that rheumatologists and radiographics are enough to do that?
Okay, so you are asking an important question. Usually, as a radiologist, we would answer we don't need AI because it will eradicate our profession. Radiologists will no longer be needed if we have AI. And in fact, a lot of radiologists are in the field of artificial intelligence and try to establish new algorithms. And I think that is also a good development, a good direction, because radiologists should be in the front line developing AI algorithms. And I'm personally convinced that these new AI methods, they are not there to replace the radiologist. It will make the life of the radiologist and other professions easier. So the focus will change. So they will not do reports maybe in 10 years, but they will check if the computer made the correct report, and there are certain steps of safety included, so that the computer does a lot of pre-checks before a report is signed off. So I think it is in fact a good marriage to have AI, radiology, and also rheumatology together.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, I've maybe I can add a little more. So I'm quite specialized in my field. I'm a musculoskeletal radiologist, and as such, I learned a lot about joints in general, like trauma to joints, tumors of joints, tumor of bone, and degeneration, etc. And my focus was also arthritis, but many other musculoskeletal radiologists are not having this focus on arthritis, so they are not so specialized, and with this high level of subspecialization, I can give good advice to rheumatologists to work with them, and I think more radiologists like me are necessary to care for patients with rheumatic conditions, but unfortunately, only few are taking the field of arthritis into their primary focus. So I think with AI, the general MSK radiologists will learn about the disease and or the group of diseases, and by that the whole field will get better with the AI methods.
So at the last ACR Congress, your team presents work on machine learning based on the artificial neural network. Can you explain the concept to us?
Yes, the work that was presented is really something new that was developed by a team of young radiologists working in our large department of radiologists and of radiology, and they work together with Professor Dennis Padubny, who is the head of the rheumatology department at the Charité Benjamin Franklin campus, and they conducted research on an AI algorithm that they did create, searching for chronic sarcoiditis on X-rays. And to do this, they used a large database of X-rays that were all scored by at least two readers. And this was a multi-center study with over 1,600 X-rays, so it's a quite large database. And I was giving advice to the team, and so I did not really code anything on the computer. But it's really a stunning result, because the computer algorithm was able to distinguish between positive and negative modified New York criteria in a better fashion than the expert readers could do it. So this shows the really good potential of the method, and we presented this at the ACR, and also it's out at a preprint server, and it's currently, I guess, under submission at a higher rank journal.
Great. And could you give us a final advice in this field to close this first interview?
So I think these algorithms should be developed further. So X-ray is always a mystery. So especially X-ray of the sacroiliac joint, it was tried in many instances to increase the scoring results, to come to a better agreement between expert readers, and it is really difficult to judge about the destruction of the sacroiliac joints in the setting of axial spondyloarthritis. So you need to read a lot of images in order to get an idea on what's going on in these joints, and still then you disagree with your colleague on the next occasion. So I think it's good that we get support by the computer in the future, but these results should be validated by radiologists before they are signed off, I think, as I said.
Okay. And in the future, for collaboration between rheumatologists and radiologists in the field of musculoskeletal disease, using machine learning or not, do you have any projects in the future?
Yes, we are working together with a team of engineers from another university in Berlin, and we are developing algorithms for the analysis of MRI images of the sacroiliac joint and also MRI images of the spine. And this is a process that is really taking quite some time in order to define the correct algorithms and to come to results. But yes, we are focusing on this technology and will develop it further, also for MRI, not only for X-ray, maybe even for CT, because CT is also a modality that is used quite frequently in the field of rheumatology.
Okay, and do you think that there is more that could be done in this field of and interface of intelligence, artificial and radiology and rheumatology?
I think another important aspect is collaboration, and also education of the two disciplines. So these disciplines, they really are connected closely together, rheumatology and radiology, because many of the rheumatic diseases rely on imaging, especially those of the exoskeleton. And my aim is to create high-level educational content for radiologists and for rheumatologists, and to keep it accessible through various options, like we created for the Ihsane Society a free online case library that everybody can access to go through certain cases and learn about them. And together with my team, we also invented an app called the Berlin Case Viewer. And in this app, you can learn about cases, not only rheumatic cases, but also other musculoskeletal cases, or even we have a module on COVID pneumonia. So you can also learn about infectious pulmonary diseases. But our main focus is on rheumatic diseases, and we have nice modules on sacroiliitis, on axial spondyloarthritis, together with Jochen Sieper. And we are expanding our library, and inside our app you are able to see very interactively the changes. So you can look at MRI and X-ray images. You get explanations inside the images. There are overlays, so I can demonstrate it here. So, for instance, this is a patient with Crown-Dent syndrome. So there is cervical disease at the cervical spine, and people are maybe not familiar with CT, so they can highlight the changes inside our app and get an explanation on what is there inside the images. So maybe you can even enlarge it, and it's a really cool app, I think, to learn on the go. And it's also available on an iPad, and soon it will be available on Mac, or also on maybe Android devices. So on the iPad you can make use of the larger screen and learn in a more professional way. So that's one of my targets, together with my group, to work further in this app. And we have now started to translate the environment into a range of languages. You helped with translating the user interface to French, and I think many doctors, they read English papers and read English books, but once it comes to the very detail, I think the native language like Spanish, French, Portuguese is of use. So I think one of our goals is to translate as many cases as possible to the different languages, so that they can be also used by doctors who are not so good in the English language. So that is our other projects that we are very much focusing on.
Great work.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for all your response, and thank you once again for sharing with us your thoughts. We'll be delighted to meet you again for the future interview in the framework between rheumatology and radiology interface. So thank you, Dr. Hermann, and we're really happy to have you here on epirim.com.
Okay. Yes, it was my pleasure to contribute, and I'm really a fan of your work, doing to distribute results from the scientific field and also from methods in the French-speaking countries. I think it's very important. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.